Hi, my name's Christy and this is our booktube channel where I discuss all things books and comic books. Today I'm going to be doing my weekly comics and graphic novels wrap-up video, and I have kind of been on a little bit of a binge with the graphic novels because I have quite a few that have been sitting there from my library, and some of them are overdue and some of them are due very soon. So I'm just going to do a bit of a wrap up of those, but I'll start with the single issue comics that I get from a local comic book store. If you're familiar with these videos, some of them you may have already seen me talk about, and there may be a new one there that you haven't seen, but I'll just go through a quick summary of those. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is called Folklords. And this is a comic that actually came out a while ago, and I missed out on issue 1 and was waiting for that to come in, and I had issues 2 to 4, so I was just waiting for that first issue to come in, and that finally came in. And this is a fun comic, and it's about this boy who lives in a fantasy type world, but he dreams of, I guess you would say, the real world. So he dreams of these massive big concrete buildings, and he dreams of this technology and these devices, and he is a little bit different and odd where he lives because he dresses up in a suit and tie, and his one desire is to find these people called the Folklords, and they're the people that he thinks he sees in his dreams. And when the people in this world reach a particular age, they have a ceremony and they have to choose a quest that they want to go on, and his desire is to find the Folklords. So that's kind of the premise of these comics, and I really enjoyed it. Was something fun. There's 5 issues of this out, and I do believe that there is a trade paperback out now, so if you are not into single issue comics but this sounds interesting to you, you can get the trade paperback. But it has kind of left it, I feel, a little bit unfinished at the end, and potential for there to be more, and I hope there is, because I quite enjoyed this. I rated most of these issues 5 out of 5 stars, and overall in a trade paperback form I would rate it a 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed. So they're ones that I read this week. Another single issue comic that I have received this week is issue number 5 of The Plot, and this is one that I have really been enjoying. It's a bit of a supernatural kind of feel to this, and it's kind of slowly revealing the story. In this particular issue, we see a little bit of a backstory that explains kind of how some of these occurrences have come about, and a little bit of backstory related to this family's estate and how they got to where they are now. So this was quite a good issue, probably one of my favorite issues in terms of this one and the previous ones. And I'm not sure if there is a trade paperback out of this as yet, but being issue 5, I would imagine that there would be one coming out soon if there isn't already. So that one is quite good. The artwork in this one is something that I really enjoy as well. So this is one of my top comics at the moment. I also have issue 3 of Dryad. So this is definitely a comic in a fantasy type genre. It's got these people in there and they pretty much look like elves, very much in that traditional fantasy setting. And this comic, there was a bit more action involved. As per the previous issues, the artwork is really fun, and it's the style of artwork that I really enjoy. And so that one, I think I also rated 5 out of 5 stars. I've got some really good comics at the moment that I'm enjoying. most of my comics are just top notch at the moment. I'm so enjoying them right now. So that's another one that's great. This comic that I picked up is issue 1. It's called The Goddamned, and it's something that I saw and just piqued my interest and thought I'd pick it up and give it a go. There is, I would say, a little bit of violence in there, and it's about these girls who kind of in this village, I guess you would say, where they live and work, and once they reach their puberty, they're offered up to a god as the bride for this god, and it's a lot more even sinister than that. So there's something really not good going on there. I'm really a little bit unsure about this one. I think I rated it 3 out of 5 stars. I might give the next issue another go, but I'm just not 100% sold on it, so we'll see how I feel whenever the next issue's out. We'll see whether I decide to go with that or not, because I am kind of at the same time interested to see where the story goes as well, whether there's some resolution there. So yeah, that one I'm not as sold on. So now they're all my single issue comics that I have read this week. Now I'm going to go through some graphic novels and / trade paperbacks that I've read. I know that there's been a few questions around what is a graphic novel, what is trade paperback, and really, if you want to get technical, a trade paperback is a bind up of single issue comics. Once they've had maybe 5 or 6 single issue comics, they bind it up into a trade paperback. But a lot of people interchange that with graphic novels, so a lot of people will refer to those as graphic novels. And personally, I think people know what you're talking about when you refer to them as graphic novels. It's fine. As I said, if you do want to get technical though, a graphic novel is a story that is told with artwork that has a clear beginning, middle and end, I guess you would say. And so comic books turned into trade paperbacks don't necessarily have a clear ending, so some people won't refer to them as graphic novels. They believe that it's not accurate, and I guess if you're getting technical, it's not. So I have some trade paperbacks here, and I got them from my local library, and as I said, a lot of them are due or overdue. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Moon Knight, and I read this not really knowing much going into it. It's a Marvel comic, and it's about a superhero who has a bit of a split personalities. And it does have some Egyptian mythology involved there in the story as well. I don't tend to go for the superhero comics as much. I did enjoy this. There was a fair bit of violence in there as well, so if that's something that you're not into, then I would say avoid this one. I did find some of that Egyptian mythology interesting. I think I may give any further issues a go because it still was quite enjoyable. That's one that I've read this week. I read 3 volumes of Ghosted, and this one does have a bit of violence in it as well, but not over the top, I would say. And this is about a felon. So he's in prison, and he gets broken out of prison by this very wealthy person, and he's asked in return for breaking him out to go to this haunted mansion and capture a ghost. And that's how this series starts out. So this was quite interesting, and I liked kind of the mystery behind each of the volumes and what they're trying to achieve. And yeah, I will continue on with this. I'm not sure if there's further volumes, so I've got to go check that out and see if there are, but I definitely did enjoy those 3 volumes of Ghosted. So that was quite good. A trade paperback that I read that left me so confused was this one here. It's called Supreme Blue Rose, and I'm really at a loss as to how to explain this, because even after finishing the whole comic, I was still left quite confused. So it's a little bit of fantasy mixed in with sci-fi, mixed in with time travel, and it just was all over the place. And if you like something that's quite odd and left of center and quite different, I would recommend this for you. I'm not sure if I want to read it again to see if a second time round I could make any more sense out of it. It was certainly something very different to anything that I've read before. So that's another one that I read. If you've seen my other comic wrap-ups that I've posted, you'll know that I've been reading The Wicked and the Divine. So I've read another volume. This is volume 6. So this volume focuses on Persephone and Sekhmet. There's a bit of fighting that goes on in this volume, and as always, the artwork in these are really good. It's one that I'm really enjoying, so I do have a few more of those to continue on with as well. So the last trade paperback that I'm going to discuss is one that I've actually read the series of quite a while ago. It was a long time ago, and I decided to get my hands on it again and do a reread, and that's the Unwritten. So this is such a good comic, one that I really enjoy, and I'm gonna do a little bit of a summary, but honestly it's not gonna do it justice, and if I was to talk about it more I would give away spoilers. So just trust me when I say this is a really good one. So basically it starts off with this man, and he is at some kind of Comic-Con type convention, and he's signing autographs, and he's basically famous because his father wrote a book, and in the book there's a boy, and the boy is based on his son. And that's really why he's famous, and he's living off that. But also what's happened is previously, when this man was a child, his father disappeared unexpectedly, and there's a little bit of mystery surrounding that. So I won't say much more than that. I know that that doesn't really make it sound extremely interesting, but trust me when I say this is really, really good. And this is just the first volume, so I want to do my reread and read the remaining volumes as well. But this one, I remember when I first read it, I was really disappointed when it ended. I just wanted more of them. So this is one that I definitely highly recommend. So those are the comics and graphic novels that I have read this week. If you've read any of them or any of them seem to interest you, please comment below and let me know. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up. I would much appreciate it. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.